Mr. Nagel, please. Okay, just checking. Go ahead and use this opportunity to grab something to eat before our speaker begins. But we're going to go ahead and get our little presentation started. My name is Elyse Lowe. I'm the Executive Director of Move San Diego. I have the distinct pleasure of serving this fantastic organization as the ED for the last 3 years. It's great to have a really diverse group of people here tonight. I'm excited to help us support and together support sustainable transportation and land use in the San Diego region. As advocates for sustainable transportation and land use, we value the role of mobility in economic growth, social equity, and our region's quality of life. So buzzwords: smart growth, complete streets, green streets, multimodal, sustainable communities, livable communities. What does that all mean? Well, what it means to Move San Diego, it means that we want San Diego's transportation to cost less per person. It means that we want to get you there more quickly. And it means that we want transportation impacts on air quality and the environment to be reduced, short-term and long-term. And overall, it means that we want fewer people in the San Diego region to have to drive. We want there to be great choices for people to get around with or without their car. So first and foremost, I would like to thank the sponsors of this evening's event. I am looking for Mr. Will Berry of Cardigo, San Diego. So let's give a round of applause for Cardigo. If you haven't seen one of the 300 cute little white and blue, 100% electric, zero-emission smart vehicles in the downtown beach or urban San Diego area, well, then you haven't opened your eyes. They're everywhere. They're a great private partner for Move San Diego. We appreciate them being here and filling that void of car sharing. Car sharing is an option that does has actually one of the highest rates for reducing vehicle miles traveled. And so I want to introduce Will, Director of Marketing and Communications locally here for Cardigo, to say a few words. And thank you very much for sponsoring our event tonight.
My name's Will Berry, and I just got a promotion because I'm actually the sales and marketing manager, so I'm going to stick it over there. I'm here with a couple of our staff members. I've got Phil right here, and I've got Diane right behind us. Wanted to say hello to you. We wouldn't be a success without the staff that we have today. So, first of all, we're so delighted to be sponsoring this event with Move San Diego. This is an organization that we are in complete alignment with. It's funny, about 6 months ago, we were on a Broadway pier together, and there was an event you did, I'm not sure.
It was Green Streets Expo.
Green Streets Expo. Well, at that time, we were just this little baby of a company, just trying to flower and blossom. Since that time, 6 months later, we're at 7,500 members. Who's a member here? Who's a member here? Thank you, guys.
And you can sign up right over there if you need to.
Absolutely. So, being in alignment with having partnerships like we do with Move San Diego are integral. Since that time, 6 months ago, we've just gone off like gangbusters. We're very, very proud to be a part of to be in the communities that we're in here in San Diego, especially here in the East Village. We're located right next door, so we're very proud to be from the East Village. I wanted to take one brief moment to thank somebody for their leadership. Councilmember Gloria has been outstanding in the leadership that he's shown. In terms of our electric vehicle infrastructure. And that's something that's incredibly important to Cardigo, of course, but it's actually incredibly important to all of us. If we have this will to get off the oil, the electric vehicle is the way to do so. So, just in summary again, Elyse, thank you so much for everything that you've done. We're delighted to be here. If you have any questions, our staff members will be glad to help. Have a great event. Thank you so much.
I also want to recognize our supporting sponsor tonight, the London Group, Principal Gary London. He'll be our speaker this evening, and I'll turn it over to Gary in a second. I do want to recognize tonight we have with us Congressman Bob Filner. Great supporter for transportation and livable communities. And again, Councilmember Todd Gloria, thank you very much. Your leadership is really important to us. Now I would like to, before I turn it over to Gary London, I'd like to recognize the other Move San Diego board members that are here. So if you're on the board, if you could make yourselves visible, maybe you come up here, just wave. Gary London, Emily Fulkerson, Kathy Breedlove, and Sarah Kruger-Jagger are here tonight with us. So thank you. And several of our board members are actually at the APA conference up in LA, so they send their regrets, but they wanted to say thank you to all of you for coming out and supporting us tonight. I would absolutely be remiss as a one-person organization not to recognize my staff, which don't get paid, so that makes them interns and volunteers. But a big thanks, a shout out to Phil Yellen, Leo Sherman, Julie Rice. This is a one-person organization with 30 volunteers, really make it work. So, and I'm sorry, we do actually have a former elected official in the crowd, former council member Jim Dapper is here. Thank you very much. He's a downtown resident now, he just hopped over, so. So now I'd like to turn it over to Gary. Where'd you go, Gary? Come on over. Go ahead and open it up.
So I'm
and I did not preview this presentation, so.
oh, you're already.
Okay, I helped it. There we go.
Thank you, Elyse. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I feel like I'm about to get a cold, so I'm going to try to minimize my yelling. So if you all want to assemble a little bit closer, feel free to do that. Elyse is correct. She did not preview the presentation. And for good reason, I didn't want her to edit it. The beauty of Move San Diego is that we've got board members with lots of ideas. So the first thing I want to share with you is that what I'm about to talk about is dominated by my ideas. And we've been sort of moving our mission statement around emissions at Move San Diego so that we can accommodate what we think is a broader transportation opportunity future. And I'm going to sort of explain that in a minute. I also have to confess that in addition to the fact that these are my own ideas, and I'm completely unqualified in everything except the land use portion of it, there are a number that, there are people on the board who have different perspectives, different ideas, and that's sort of the fun part of being involved in the transportation thinking business, because we've got a very complicated urban environment with the opportunity for lots of solutions. And I just sort of wanted to think out of the box a little bit and share with you some of my ideas as to what the areas where those solutions might lie. And I will tell you straight out that I'm a real estate analyst. What I do is conduct real estate economic studies for real estate developers and real estate investors. And a lot of what we do involves land use, it involves economics, and indirectly involves transportation, but you're definitely not going to get a talk from a transportation engineer here tonight. My idea, my approach tonight is sort of to juice up the issues a little bit and see if I can get some dialogue going. The way I look at transportation solutions, particularly in this community, but in many, many communities around the country, falls into 4 separate categories. And I want to talk about those categories tonight. One is economics, the next is technology, the third is behavior modification, and the fourth is land use. And out of the 4 areas, it's land use, which I'm probably most qualified to talk about, but what the heck, I'm going to talk about all the rest as well. The reality of it is that we do have public transportation in San Diego City and San Diego County, but it's dominated by people of low or lower middle class incomes. And it's dominated by by people who are maybe don't have the opportunity to drive their car, not so much by choice, but by need and by necessity. And it's also a situation where we have growing populations, but not at the level that we have vehicle miles traveled. So we have really the need to sort of address solutions in transportation, but a need that's greater than what the population growth is. So in Move San Diego, our goal really is, regardless of what all of our opinions are, what our solutions might be, is to get people from point A to point B quicker, cheaper, safer, and healthier. We've got a fancier motto, and I think I've got a slide at the end of this to sort of express that, but that's sort of my way of telling you what we're going to go. The goal is to move the needle to new options, recognizing the reality that that we can't any longer accomplish moving from point A to point B simply by getting in our automobiles alone. We've got too many trips, too few roads. And I will tell you personally, in my own view, and a lot of my clients are in the real estate development industry, and that's the industry that I grew up in. My own view is that paving is no longer the answer. This is a view that I've shared with lots of people in my industry, many of whom don't agree with me, but I'm personally against adding one single new freeway or and the reason for that is not that I'm against concrete. I have a couple of clients that are in the concrete business. It's really that I'm thinking that we have other options and other opportunities, and it's important that we explore other opportunities. Here's one. I don't know if you saw this picture in the media. This is fairly recent. The reason this is important is because some of you have cars that can park themselves. Does anybody own a car that can park themselves right now? Some of you should. Most of them are Mercedes-Benz right now, but I at least raised $2 and still don't know how to parallel park. So it's probably a good idea. In short, we also have cars with computers on them, which allow us to tell the car that when we are on the freeway and we get within, say, 100 feet of the car in front of us, it automatically slows down. And we're just a nanosecond away from automobiles that take it to the next level, which is driving a car that essentially drives itself. So all of you can go ahead and be on your cell phones and you can text, and nobody will ever really be upset at you anymore. And the opportunity that this kind of technology brings to us is at least twofold. One is that let's remember that technology changes the argument, changes the whole discussion we're having. And past is not prologue. We don't necessarily need to go to just public transit, or certainly not just to rail transit or trolleys as solutions to our problems. I would argue that in San Diego, at least, not in Boston, not in New York, not in DC, certainly not in Chicago, but in San Diego at least, rail solutions are probably not our best bet going forward. And I'll put up a couple of statistics to suggest that in a minute. I think our best bet is to better utilize the freeways that we have and the corridors that we have, and probably look at technology as a solution. And one of the opportunities of using technology like this, I think, although again I'm not an expert, but I think it allows us to go 60 miles an hour on a freeway during the most congested part of the day, 1 foot away from the car in front of us. And if you just think about that from an accommodation perspective, it allows a lot more personal vehicles, whether they're called autos or something else, to be on the road. And we can't, because we're so wedded, particularly in San Diego and Southern California, to personal transit, I should say to personal vehicles, we can't just ignore that.